Well, hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Had 10 mil of rain last night, so bit of a maintenance day today. Yes, much needed rain. So we've just got Phil here with his driving style. He's wrecked his ute again.
I thought that camera was lost. I tried my best, it didn't work.
Yeah. Yes, no, I've got two, Phil.
Oh.
You didn't think about the second one.
Didn't account for that.
So I think under tray toolbox here is cops a bit of a flogging. So
Do you want to tell them who fixed it up last time?
I'll tell them that after I tell them who broke it the first time. It's pretty rough back there. Don't blame it sometimes. But the other thing we've got going on here is this is the seed cleaner that that was purchased at a clearing sale a little while ago. And we've got the perfect job for it because we've got linseed from last year that we need to grade to then sow with. So yeah, we're going to probably get cracking on that today, getting this set up. So it's pretty simple in theory, but you basically got your big fan there, blows air up through here, and then you've got different like veins and things, so the different weights of the grain depending on your airflow will fall into different sections here. So this section here would usually be all your clean grain, so the bulk of it should come out there if you got it set up right. And then you've got your big auger that obviously you can set that into a truck. And then this should be all your tailings, which go into this one and out the little auger into somewhere else. You can use it for cattle feed or whatever you want. But I do have to do a couple little things. Pump up a tyre is one. This oil tank for the hydraulics looks like Dad put a new gauge on it a little while ago, but it looks like it's just leaking slowly. So it's yeah, I've got to try and drain that out and figure out what's going on there, whether the O-ring's not quite sealing right or what, but I'll figure out something there anyway. Brad and Johnny are down at the development block. In the last video we just got the Rogator running, so they're going to be down there just tidying off a few of the loose ends with that, and hopefully that thing should be ready to actually spray with pretty soon. So that's very exciting. So yeah, that's just, we're all split up a bit again today, but we're going to have a couple of days where we got to work on a bit of gear. Going to do a bit of work on the planter, get it all tip top so it can go down to the new lease block, which is a fair hike, to sow the linseed. So that's the plan. We'll see how much that changes by the time we finish this video. Right, well, we got that drained. I've made a sufficient mess there, so that's always expected. So I'm just going to pop this off and we'll see what we find. Maybe this wasn't tight enough. That was very loose actually. Might be all it is. Don't want to do them too tight, but probably should have tried that first before I drained the oil. Gave it a good clean, and I can't see any leaks, I don't think, so we'll just keep an eye on that, but I think that might have been the problem. It just needed a bit of a nip up, so very thankful about that, because otherwise you've got to pull the top, like there's, I don't know, 12 screws or something, and pull the whole top off and get your hand in there and yeah, whatever. So I'm thankful for that. Well, we've only got a couple of hours left in the day, so Josiah and I will get started on the planter here, getting a few things sorted. He's just going to go through with the welder and weld on, I won't watch that, weld on, just put a little bead of weld here, because what's happening is these bolts, if they break or whatever, you lose your seed boot, and it gets expensive if you keep leaving them in the paddock. So we're going to go through, do that. I'm going to go through and replace these scrapers, so we just got a heap more of them, because where did I put that old one? Over here. So yeah, you can see the tungsten strip comes off and cracks, and whether it's just wearing out or rocks or whatever, and yeah, then you lose that and it doesn't work very well. So yeah, I'm going through and doing that and adjusting them. Well, we're very fast approaching the end of the day. Josiah doesn't have too many left, I don't think. I've been through and done all the scrapers. So they're all looking... Actually, I didn't have to replace that one, or that one. There's a new one. So out of 36, I replaced 28. Most of them are this sort of... You can see there where it's been, obviously these are on an angle, so they wear at about that angle, and yeah, obviously the tungsten strip is gone, so there's all the old ones. I'm sure there's a use for them somewhere. But just before it's knock-off time, I'm going to do something that I really enjoy doing, and that's fiddling with lights. I'm sure a few can probably relate. We did get given some to try. So I got sent a couple, there was 2 floods and 2 spots, and I will show you. I just pulled one of the old ones off the Steiger. Now when we bought the Steiger, it had these cheap ones, and I've just tested that, and it looks to be drawing about 2 amps of power. I think it's about 12 volts, so that equates to about 24 watt. I don't know what it was when it was new, but I'll just dodge up some wiring here. Don't know how well it'll come up on the camera, but like it's a decent light. You can see it's got a bright spot in the middle, and off to the sides there and there it's got a bit of a beam out to the side. But yeah, that middle bit in there is quite direct. So anyway, I'll quickly hook up, try and not create too many sparks here. I'll hook up the other one. Let's see if I can hold all this and do what I'm trying to do here. That side. You don't have to dodgy these up so much, but that's what I'm good at. So you can see that, I mean, I think you probably comes up on the camera pretty well, but from there to there, like that'd have to be, it wouldn't be 90 degrees, but it would probably be 70 degrees of fairly even angle and brightness. And comparing the two, I think that bright spot on that light is about the same as this, which this is a lot bigger pattern. So very impressive actually, that one. And I did do an amp test on it. So it's at 12 volt and it's drawing 3.3. So if we do some quick maths, 3.3 times 12 is 39.6, and it is a 40 watt LED. That's what the box says, I think. Where are we? Oh yeah, down there. So it says 40 watt So I am quite impressed, because usually a lot of the cheaper ones, I'll say that they're 40 watt and you will find that they're only, you know, maybe 28, 30. So that's a very good start. So anyway, we're just going to put 2 of these on at least, I think, and see what it does. I think there's going to be a massive difference compared to these other ones we had. And we may even do a test with the steady ones. We've got a couple of steady ones still to try. But yes, they are, I might as well say the brand, Murder Lighting. So that will be an interesting test. I do not have to say anything nice about it if I don't want to. I don't like being forced to say nice things. So yeah, they look very solid. They feel very solid. They're not, looks like quite a solid base. A lot of the cheaper ones you find are just like a tin little base, but this is a proper, I don't know what it's made of. It'd be aluminium, I'm sure, but it's good and nice and thick. So that should certainly hold up. And yeah, it's got a nice thick lens to it. That'll just be polycarbonate, but yeah. Anyway, that's just something I love fiddling around with. I've just got a bit of an obsession with lights. So anytime I can think of a bit of an excuse to fiddle around with them, I'll jump at it.
Well, good afternoon folks. It's Peter back again. Been a long time since I've been holding the camera. Anyway, I thought I'd be brave and have another go. Just a bit of an update. I'm just down here, I'm taking the little digger back that we hired or borrowed to dig the trench for the air line from the compressor over there. We'll work our way over there, but in the meantime the Rogator's back in action. So the boys have been into that the last couple of days. Looks like that's all going and going good apparently, so it's really good to see. That's the bash plate or the sump guard off the dump truck. Anyway, there's a bit of a story going on there. We had a coolant leak into the sump. Probably another one of our misdemeanors where we didn't perhaps check everything before we pulled the head off, and it appears like it's a water pump failure, running water straight into the sump. So there may have been some unnecessary activity going there, but in the overall scheme of things, if you don't have a crack at things, you don't get much done. And we do make quite a few mistakes, but we do have some wins too. So just an update on this compressor. That's all going good. We come across at our dealer in town, he had one of these, they called them a VAM water separator. And it's designed for an inline screw type compressor when you've got air tools on the end of the line. So quick fitting here and here, and it helps take out moisture so it doesn't ruin the air tool. We've adapted this to here, just going to see if it works. It wasn't being used in town. He said take it home and see what you can do, see whether you can make it work. It's a 100 CFM unit. This compressor is 40 CFM, and we're not sure how it'll work, but basically we had this copper pipe here in there going from there down to there, but it gets very hot, and so I thought if we put a fitting here and 2 meters of pipe, it might take some of the heat out of this by the time it gets to here. But as I understand it, the way this works, the air comes in through here and creates like a vortex or a swirling pattern. In the middle is a low pressure area, and on the outside is a high pressure area. And to my understanding, I believe that it bleeds off some of the still positive air pressure on the inside, and then allows that to escape out past this shield. So it's always constantly bleeding off, I don't know, maybe 5% of your air, but it's the low pressure air and the air that's got the moisture in it that's being is escaping. So we're not just sure how that'll work. It may not work at all, but that's what we're going to try and do. And one of the ways, I had to put a one-way valve there to stop, so because if it was able to bleed back, it would just leak out all your air pressure out of this pressure vessel. But one of the ways we're going to attempt to try and see if it works is we'll run it for a bit once we get it going, and then we'll see if we get any water out of the drain cock down the bottom. And if we do, it means that it's not working as well as we'd hoped. So, and that's gone in, been trenched in. We've also got our favourite electricians, the thrifty boys. This is where our air pipe comes up from under the ground there, up the wall. We'll hopefully run it along this purlin here. This is about 6 foot tall, so it won't get sparks, and that hopefully won't avoid sparks that fly up from machinery and stuff. The lights have gone up, so we've got 3 LED lights on each bay. Maybe we don't. Oh yes, we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the last 2 we only have 2. Anyway, yes, there's a bit of a story going on here with this dear old girl. This sort of stuff, I used to sort of be okay with doing it myself in the day, but now it just scares the wits out of me. It's all too much. My hard drive freezes over and I can't remember where things go. Anyway, that's where cameras and that are good these days. But anyway, Brad's the one with that sort of stuff. He doesn't mind taking on a bit of a bite, and which is a good trait. You need that.
Well guys, we are back here at the development block. The Rogator has been kicked out of the big shed because we've got lights and bits and pieces going up there, so that is good. That'll be very exciting. Wonder if that's the same light as that. Must be. Huh, looks pretty big. Yeah, so that'll be lovely to have some nice bright lights there and power and all of that, so looking forward to that. Now, what I'm doing here is, this is basically all ready to go. Johnny and Brad were here yesterday. It's been serviced, so final drive, oil's been changed, engine oil, all of that. Obviously, it's just had new hydraulic oil in it. And yeah, so just it's been given its service. So we're ready to take it back, but I'm gonna just finish gassing up the aircon while all the bits are here. And then, yeah, then we're gonna be taking it for its maiden voyage back. So we've got, yeah, gas going into it, obviously. We're looking at, got about 600 grams in there. I do believe it's meant to be 1.2 or a little bit over 1.2. So yeah, it looks like it's fairly well equalised. So I'll shut it off. I'll have to start it up, and yeah, we'll suck it through the low side, which is going to be very noisy. So we'll see how we go with that. Well, those pressures look pretty good. So we'll see if that feels cold to me. Oh, I think we've had a win. Nothing else obvious that's not right. Well, we'll get ready for a road trip back. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a bit of a road trip with a few of the bits of gear, the planter, yeah, and a few other bits and pieces, just taking it down to the new lease block. And yeah, we're going to get started planting there. If not tomorrow, probably the next day. And yeah, so there's still plenty of stuff happening. I am pleased to report that everything seems to be working fine, which is lovely. You're sort of in the back of your mind, you always think something must have been forgotten, something hasn't been done right. But so far, we've got engine vitals looking good. We're not getting too hot. We've got oil pressure. So yes, everything's good there, and the transmission, we've got good pressure on that, and temperature, the temperature's good, so It's actually a weird feeling driving this again. Yeah, I was starting to get used to the old house, but I'm going to have to get my eyes in for 36 metres again, so yeah, at least we'll be getting over the country a bit quicker now. So that will probably be the end of this video. We'll have a bit of shifting of gear to do down to the new lease block, so just remember to hit the like button if you did enjoy it, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next one.